Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi, Gaur Bhaktivinoda. This is Chaitanya Bhagavata, Adi-Khanda, Chapter 10, description of the marriage to Sri Lakshmi Priya. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya, the Lord of Lords. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya, whose form is eternal and who is dear to Lord Nityananda. Glory to Lord Chaitanya, the master of the doorkeeper, Sri Govinda Das. O Lord, please place your glance of mercy on the conditioned souls. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya, the king of the Brahmins and the son of Jagannath Misra. O Lord, glory to your devotees. Glory, glory to lotus-eyed Lord Chaitanya, who's an ocean of mercy. O Lord, please be merciful. Place your glories always in my thoughts. O my brother, please hear in the Adi-Khanda this description of the Lord's pastimes of scholarship. In Navadvip, Lord Chaitanya tasted the nectar of study day and night. He never stopped. After chanting the Gayatri mantra at sunrise, he who is the master of 30 million demigods would go off to study with the other students. Sitting in Gangadasa's assembly again and again, the Lord would engage in debate. Again and again, the Lord would defeat anyone who disagreed with his interpretation of the views in books. The Lord would interpret each passage in many different ways. When Murari Gupta did not agree with these interpretations, the Lord would defeat him. Assuming the Virasana posture and his arms tied in the Yogapat manner, the Lord sat in the middle of the assembly. His glistening Vaishnav tilak was drawn with sandal paste. The splendor of his teeth rebuked pearls. The Lord was 16 years old and in the prime of youth. His fair body was handsome like Kamadev. Very learned, he defeated even Brihaspati. He mocked anyone who disagreed with him. The Lord said, "Who is learned here? Who can break what I have proved?" Without even knowing the rules of Sandhi, they try to explain the meanings of books. They are only proud fools. Whatever they think is the meaning is not the true meaning of the passage they explain. Hearing these proud words like the twang of a bowstring, Murari Gupta did not say anything, but only continued his work. Still, the Lord always taunted him. Simply by seeing his servant, the king of Brahmins, became very happy. The Lord said to him, "O physician, why do you study here? Go back to your leaves and vines. Go back and cure the sick." Books describing Sanskrit grammar stand at the highest pinnacle of difficulty. In them is no description of mucus, bile, and indigestion. In your heart you think about this again and again. What will you learn here? Go home and cure the sick. Murari Gupta, who was an Amsa avatar, or Lord Shiva, was naturally aggressive. Still, he did not become angry when he saw Vishvambara. Murari Gupta gave this reply, "O saintly Brahmin, why do you think yourself so important? I see how you mock everyone. You're very proud. Do I not always answer any questions on sutras, interpretation of difficult passages, astronomy, or commentaries? Without even testing me with questions, you say, 'What do you know? You are a saintly Brahmin. What will a lowly person like myself say to you?'" The Lord then said, "Explain what was studied today." Murari Gupta explained, but the Lord broke the explanations into pieces. When Murari Gupta explained something one way, the Lord explained it in a different way. Neither the master nor the servant defeated each other. By the Lord's power, Murari Gupta was very learned. Hearing Murari Gupta's explanations, the Lord became pleased. Seeing pleased, the Lord placed his lotus hand on Murari Gupta's body. Then Murari Gupta's body became filled with bliss. In his heart, Murari Gupta thought, "This person's not a human being. is not a resident of the material world. How can a human being possess such learning? And the touch of his hand filled my body with bliss. I think I will not be shamed to become his student. In all of Navadvip, no one is as intelligent like him. Very pleased, the best of physicians said, "O Vishwamar, please listen. I'll become your student." The Lord and his servant were both happy at heart. Accompanied by the other boys, they went to bathe in the Ganga. After bathing in the Ganga, they went to the Lord's home. In this way, the Lord enjoyed pastimes of tasting the nectar of learning. The scholar Mukunda Sanjay was very fortunate, for at his home, the Lord enjoyed pastimes of learning. The Lord personally taught his son. Mukunda Sanjaya was always devoted to the Lord. In his home, there was a very large Chandi Mandapa where the 4 directions were filled with students. There, surrounded by students, Lord Chaitanya, the king of Brahmins, lectured. First he would prove something, then he would refute what he had just proved. At every moment he criticized other teachers. The Lord would say, "In Kali Yuga, people who do not even understand Sandhi accept the title of Bhattacharya. I will see if they can defeat my arguments. Then I will know if they deserve the title Bhattacharya and Misra." In this way, the king of Vaikuntha enjoyed pastimes of tasting the nectar of learning. His servants could not recognize who he really was. Seeing that her son was in the prime of youth, at every moment Mother Sachi thought about arranging his marriage. A Brahmin named Vallabha Acharya lived in Navadvip. He was like King Janaka himself. He had a daughter who was like Goddess Lakshmi personified. He was always thinking, who would be a proper husband for her. One day, by divine arrangement, Lord Chaitanya met this girl, Goddess Lakshmi herself, as she was going to bathe in the Ganga. Recognizing his own Goddess Lakshmi, Lord Chaitanya smiled. In her heart, Lakshmi offered obeisances to the Lord's feet. Recognizing each other's true identity, the 2 of them returned to their homes. Who has the power to understand Lord Chaitanya's pastimes? By the Lord's wish, a Brahmin named Vanamali came that day to Sachi Devi's home. That noble Brahmin offered obeisances to Mother Sachi, and she honored him and offered him a place to sit. Vanamali Acharya said to Mother Sachi, "Why do you not make arrangements for your son's marriage?" A person named Vallabha Acharya lives in Navadvip. He's saintly and faultless. He's noble-hearted and comes in a very respectable family. His daughter is like Goddess Lakshmi herself in beauty, character, and glory. If the desire entered your heart, you could marry her to your son. Mother Sachi replied, "My son is still a boy. He has no father. Let him grow and study a little longer. Then these other things can be done." Not finding any sweetness in these words, the unhappy Brahmin left. By divine arrangement, he saw Lord Chaitanya on the street. Seeing him, the Lord happily embraced him. The Lord said, "Whose home did you visit? Please tell me." The Brahmin replied, "I spoke with your mother. I spoke with her about arranging your marriage. I do not know why she was not pleased to hear of it." Hearing these words, the Lord became silent. Smiling, he chatted with the Brahmin and then returned home. Smiling, he at once said to his mother, "What was not good with the Acharya's words?" Understanding her son's hint, Sachi became happy. The next day she invited the Brahmin to return. She had a talk with him. Sachi said to them, "This I say, please, quickly arrange what you yesterday proposed." Touching the dust of Mother Sachi's feet, the Brahmin at once went to Vallabhacharya's home. Seeing the Brahmin, Vallabhacharya honored him and gave him a place to sit. Vanamali Acharya said, "Please hear my words. Astrologically, this is an auspicious time for your daughter's marriage. Jagannath Misra has a son named Vishwambar, who is very learned and an ocean of good qualities. He is saintly and noble. He would be good for your daughter. If this idea pleases your heart, please tell me." Hearing these words, Vallabhacharya happily said, "It is because of great good fortune that a husband like this has come to my daughter." If Lord Krishna were pleased with me, or if Goddess Lakshmi and Goddess Parvati were pleased with my daughter, then a son-in-law like this would come to me. Please make all arrangements without delay. Still, there is one thing I am embarrassed to say. I have no money. I cannot give a dowry. I will give 5 harataki fruits, and I will give my daughter. Please bear this message. After hearing Vallabhacharya's words, Vanamali Acharya happily made all the arrangements. Bringing this good news, he said to Mother Sachi, "The fruit is come. Now I will calculate the auspicious moment according to astrology." Hearing this, all the relatives became happy. They came and helped with the arrangements. On an auspicious day, in the Adivas celebration before the wedding, many performers danced, sang, and played many kinds of musical instruments. In the 4 directions, the Brahmins recited the Vedas. In the center, splendid like the moon, was the jewel of the Brahmins. At an auspicious moment, a fragrant garland was given to the Lord. In this way, the Brahmin relatives concluded the Adivas ceremony. Then, splendid fragrances, sandal, betel nuts, and garland were given to the Brahmin, who became very pleased. Vallabhacharya also came, properly observed the Adivas ritual, and happily left. Rising early in the morning, the Lord bathed, gave charity, and respectfully worshipped the Pitas. There were auspicious dancing, singing, and instrumental music. In the 4 directions could be heard tumultuous calls of, "He is like the God of love in person." Many chaste ladies, dear friends, Brahmins, and saintly devotees came, giving them gifts of puffed rice, bananas, sindura, betel nuts, and oil. Mother Sachi delighted the ladies. Assuming human forms, the demigods and demigoddesses also happily came to the Lord's wedding. With a happy heart, Vallabhacharya properly worshipped the demigods and Pitas. Then, at an auspicious moment at sunset, the Lord went with his mother to Vallabhacharya's home. When the Lord arrived, Vallabhacharya and his kinsmen felt their hearts become plunged in an ocean of happiness. Properly, respectfully, and happily, Vallabhacharya offered a seat to his son-in-law. Finally, he brought his daughter Lakshmi, who was decorated with many ornaments, and placed her before the Lord. Everyone chanted the holy names of Lord Hari. Then they lifted Lakshmi from the ground. Lakshmi circumambulated the Lord 7 times. With folded hands she offered respectful obeisances to him. At the end, the couple, who were in truth Sri Sri Lakshmi Narayan, happily exchanged flower garlands. Lakshmi placed a splendid garland at the Lord's feet. Bowing down, she offered herself to him. In all directions were blissful sounds of Jai, Jai Hari. No one could hear anything else. Placing Lakshmi at his left, and relishing the nectar of the moon of her beautiful face, the Lord sat down. The youthful Lord defeated Kamadev, and Lakshmi sat down beside him. Who has the power to describe the joy and graceful beauty present there in Vallabhacharya's home? At the end, Vallabhacharya gave his daughter to the Lord. Splendid like Bhishma, splendid like wise Bhishma, he sat down. Vallabhacharya then offered Padya to the feet of the Lord, whose potency creates the world of Brahma and Shiva. After offering Padya to the Lord's feet, Vallabhacharya decorated the Lord's body with garlands. After offering Padya to the Lord's feet, Vallabhacharya decorated the Lord's body with garments, flower garlands, and sandalwood paste. After thus properly offering his daughter to the Lord, Vallabhacharya became plunged in an ocean of happiness. Then the chaste ladies devoted to their husbands made the necessary arrangements for the newlyweds. That night the Lord stayed in Vallabhacharya's home. The next day he took Lakshmi to his own home. Arriving, Lord Chaitanya and Lakshmi stepped down from the palanquin. Everyone ran to see them. The couple, who were, in truth, Lakshmi and Narayan, were splendid with fragrances, garlands, ornaments, crowns, sandal paste, and kajal. Seeing them, everyone exclaimed, "Glorious, glorious!" The women especially were filled with wonder. Someone said, "For a long time she must have sincerely and devotedly served Shiva and Parvati." How can a girl possessing only a little good fortune attain a husband like him? I think that they are just like Shiva and Parvati. Someone else said, "They must be Sachi and Indra, or else Rati and Kamadev." One lady said, "They must be Lakshmi and Narayan." Some other ladies said, "They're like Sita Ram riding on the palanquin. They're very beautiful. No one is their equal." In these ways the ladies spoke. With fortunate eyes they gazed at Lakshmi and Narayan. In this way, accompanied by a great tumult of dancing, singing, and instrumental music, at sunset the Lord arrived in his own home. Then Sachi Devi and the Brahmin ladies happily brought the newlyweds into the house. Speaking sweet words and giving them gifts of money and garments, Sachi pleased the Brahmins, performers, and everyone else. Any person who hears this sacred description of the Lord's marriage will no longer be bound by the ropes of birth and death. Lakshmi stayed at Lord Chaitanya's side. The newlyweds were a holy abode of spirituality. The newlyweds were a holy abode of spiritual effulgence in Sachi's home. Sachi could not understand the wonderful spiritual effulgence now always present inside and outside her home. Sometimes she saw a glistening flame next to her son. When she turned and looked again, she no longer saw it. Moment after moment, smelling the fragrance of lotus flowers, she was always filled with wonder. Mother Sachi thought, "I think I know the reason. This girl is an incarnation of Goddess Lakshmi. That is why I see this effulgence and smell the fragrance of flowers. That is why the sadness of our former poverty is no more. I do not know why Goddess Lakshmi has come to be my daughter-in-law and live in my house." Mother Sachi considered different theories to explain what was happening. Although Lord Chaitanya was present, his true identity was not openly revealed. Who has the power to understand the Supreme Lord's desire? How and when will the Lord manifest his pastimes? If the Lord does not reveal these truths, then even Goddess Lakshmi has no power to understand them. The Vedas, Puranas, and other scriptures declare, only by attaining his mercy can a person understand the Supreme Lord. The two moons, Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda, are my life and soul. I, Vrndavana Das, sing the glories of their feet.